Clerk will call the roll.
Glenn Whitley, County Judge.
Here.
Roy Charles Brooks, Commissioner Precinct 1. Andy H. Wynn, Commissioner Precinct 2.
Here.
Gary Fickus, Commissioner Precinct 3.
Here.
J.D. Johnson, Commissioner Precinct 4.
Here.
Constitutes a quorum.
Thank you. Our invocation today will be delivered by Pastor Charles Robinson from the Morningside United Methodist Church here in Fort Worth. Appreciate you coming out today. I think this is the first time you've come to court.
Yes, sir. It's an honor to be here.
After the invocation, please remain standing for our pledges.
Let us pray. Almighty God, you are a great and greatly to be praised. You are Creator, Lord, and Judge of us all. Today, Lord, we stand in gratitude of your affections for us as your children. We are grateful for the responsibilities you have placed on our shoulders as citizens of Texas. And today, amongst this body of government stewards and those who are in attendance here, we pray that you would continue to grant them the wisdom to make the best and most just decisions possible. Lord, we lift up not only this government body into your care, but everyone in this room and in our wonderful and beautiful county, and all governmental bodies across the United States of America, praying for some moral and just consciousness. We are thankful for our circles of family, friends, and faith communities. This is the day that you have made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. Please let your spirit dwell with us this day and every day. We're also grateful, God, for the agenda and for all who will be honored today, but especially the gentleman I had the pleasure to sit by, D.W. Dub Branson Day. Thank you for his leadership and for his example of responsible law enforcement. Please bless him along with his family. And it's in the name in which we honor you that we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you very much, Charles, for coming down today. Mr. Manius, do you have some agenda announcements?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. We have 3 announcements for the court this morning. As relates to the agenda, first, under the Administrator's section, item 9A1, we will be considering that after close this morning. Under the Budget and Risk Management Department, which is 9C2, we're going to hold that until our next meeting. And then under Purchasing, item 9F6, we're also going to hold that until our next meeting. And Your Honor, I know we're starting early today, and we're going to have public hearings. Those need to take place at 10 o'clock. What we'd like to do is to go through the agenda this morning and then take you briefly into closed, and then come back and do the employee recognition and the public hearings, if that's okay with the court.
Okay. That'll work. Court members, you have in front of you the minutes of our regular meeting of June the 30th.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. No, it was me. Somebody must have pushed my key last week.
Yeah, I did.
At this time, we're going to, we have a proclamation. I believe, Commissioner Johnson, you have a proclamation for us to take
I do, Your Honor. Thank you. And it is for D.W. Dub Branson Day, Sheriff, as I call him. But anyway, a good friend of mine for many years, and he's celebrating his 50th year as a law enforcement officer, and he's our constable out in Precinct 4, and if you would read his proclamation into the record.
Thank you. Whereas D.W. Dub Branson has distinguished himself by serving for over 49 years in the law enforcement, in the field of law enforcement. And whereas he became a commissioned peace officer with Fort Worth Police Department in 1966, and whereas during his tenure with the Fort Worth Police Department, Dub rose to the rank of sergeant, and his assignments included work in the narcotics unit, the alcohol rehabilitation farm, and was president of the Fort Worth Police Officers Association before retiring in 1983. And whereas on August the 1st, 1990, he was named police chief of River Oaks, where he was instrumental in getting incentive pay for officers, upgrading the department's computers, and raising morale within the department. And whereas he became the 14th United States Marshal for the Northern District of Texas, serving under President Clinton and President Bush from 1995 through 2002, whereas Dub Branson was sworn in as constable for Tarrant County Precinct 4 on January the 1st, 2005, and whereas while some people will be remembered by titles or possessions, Constable Ransom will be remembered for his outstanding example of leadership and dedication, not only in the law enforcement community, but also to the citizens of Tarrant County. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the Commissioners Court of Tarrant County, do hereby commend Constable D.W. Dub Branson for serving the citizens of Tarrant County through his dedication to law enforcement. And further, we do hereby proclaim July the 7th, 2015, as Dub Branson Day in Tarrant County, in witness whereof we have hereunto set our hands and caused the seal of Tarrant County to be affixed this 7th day of July, 2015.
I move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
And Dub, I think, has several members of his family here, but I will let, if you'll meet me down at the podium, Dub, I'll let you introduce your family. I feel like today I'm down in my back, I need your walker.
This is 50 years of law enforcement.
Dub, I want to say congratulations to you. It's an honor for me to present this to you, and not just being our constable, but being my friend.
Thank you, sir.
We'll take a picture back here. And we have a camera that works.
I would like to, sir. Thank you. Well, first of all, I'm not sure I deserve this. There's a lot of other more deserving people that I work with. But I'd like to say the Commissioner's Court, Commissioner Gwynn, Judge Whitley, Commissioner Ficus, and J.D., and Mr. Brooks are not here, but I do appreciate the effort put forth here. And I'm not sure I deserve it, but I thank you very much for it. And I've served this county. I've worked with J.D. Johnson out there, and the finest man I've ever known, from the mayor of Saginaw all the way up to what he's in Commissioner's Court. J.D., I appreciate you, and thank you for all you've done. I do appreciate my family here. My wife, Sherry Sue, first in the row here, and my stepmom, Hazel Ransom. She's still working, over 90 years old. And Sister Sandra. And thank you, Shirley. And my daughter-in-law, Lisa, and my son, the former Marine, Charlie Branson. Thank you, Charlie. Daughter-in-law is Kevin, her son-in-law, grandson-in-law, and my granddaughter, Brandy. She's here. And Clint's here with him. Thank you. And my old partner, Jerry Blaisdell. This is some of you old people that you worked with them all that time. And like I say, I don't know why I got this honor, because there's a lot of people more deserving. But you don't ever do anything by yourself. I do know that after 50 years of law enforcement. And there's people you got to remember. You do that. Back in Fort Worth, back in 1966, Jerry Blaisdell been keeping me afloat for years. Jerry, thank you for what you did. Then I went to River Oaks out there, and Big Dan Chisholm, he stood for it, had a thing like it should. The U.S. Marshal Service had Dave Carruthers, had Bob Everly, and the preacher coming in. In the hospital a while back, I woke up and come in, he was standing at the foot of the bed holding a little bear. And I think all he needed is that blue ribbon, it's over. Thank you, Brother Smith. His brother Carol Smith, Lakeside Baptist Church, or Lakeside Church of God. First of God, it's not the Baptist.
Well, you had the Baptist and the Methodist in there. You kind of stopped in somewhere in between. I just,
But anyway, I'm very proud to be associated with these people. And like I said, this honor is very much more than what I ever thought I'd get. I work with people in River Oaks. I appreciate the opportunity we had there. The mayor here, and of course the city manager, Fred. He's out here. He made it out here. But I do thank you very much for this. I see some of the constables here that I work with out here, and some of the guys work with me. I didn't mention precinct 4. When we get down to that, that's been the last 12 years. The old Fred Rogers kept me afloat. Then we got these deputies out here that have been great. Well, we met on Kermudge and Al Keeley here this morning. And I appreciate that. Ronnie Lee, George, and Amy Carter, chief of River Oaks out here, and Jody Johnson, retired Fort Worth. And I hope our parents are comfortable precinct 4. But I won't hold you up. I won't get that paper out because I know everybody hates to see that. But like I said, I do appreciate the fact I come here, work with GK, Miss Debbie Snyder, and our district attorney here, Sherry Wilson. The sheriff, if he's here, I don't see him, but anyway, I'm sure he's around someplace. So the sheriff's gonna miss nothing. But anyway, I won't belabor the point, but I do thank you again, JD. I can't thank you enough.
Thank you, Doug.
Thank you, Doug.
Here with me.
family stand up. Y'all go ahead and stand up. Thank you, Doug. While we're kind of in the announcements, there, TCU had a great run at the baseball thing, World Series here a couple of weeks ago. Didn't quite get all the way through, but yesterday I was very proud to be a part of an announcement where UNT and TCU are joining in a collaboration to create a MD school here in Fort Worth. And it will add to the list of schools that UNT currently has. Obviously, the premier school that UNT has is the DO College. They also have public health. They have pharmacy. A lot of great offerings. And this kind of completes the crown or the jewel in the crown. And so we are very excited about the fact that beginning in 2018, will be the first year that applications or that people begin that process, and it'll start off with 60 students, and we're excited about that. I think it's going to be something, it's a great example of what we do in Fort Worth and in Tarrant County, and that's collaborate and not always just say, well, we're going to depend everything on the state or on the local government. This is truly a partnership with a private institution, TCU, and then with UNT Health Science Center. I think this speaks volumes about the job that the new president over there, Michael Williams, is doing. He's been on the job for about 2.5 years. You'll recall that, I guess it's been about a year ago, that there was announced that there's going to be a memorandum. We're working on a memorandum of understanding between UNT Health Science Center and JPS with regards to the clinics that are around this county. And now this will also, not only will it be a great collaboration between UNT and TCU, I think it will mean great things for JPS also and all of really the healthcare institutions in county and for all of the taxpayers here in the county. So we're very excited about that, and I'm sure you'll be reading a lot more about that in the weeks, months, and years to come. So that was something that I thought we needed to touch base on today also. Now, we're going to, at this point in time, I guess, GK, move on, and then we'll get through this, and we've moved this meeting to 9:30. I look out across the room, and I think that probably all the folks for the employee recognition are here, but I am a little concerned that we might go ahead and start. Does it make a difference? I mean, as long as we hit our 10 o'clock public hearing.
We're fine. As far, the only thing that we have to do at 10 o'clock or past 10 o'clock is the
Public hearings.
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, I think I'm going to go ahead and try to go through the employee recognition instead of going into executive session for a little bit and y'all having to sit here and wait for us to come back. So you know the drill, or at least all of you who've been here before, you 5 years are the rookies. And so the drill is I call your name or what sounds like your name. And I say that, and today, if you hear your first name and I don't bother, well, it's not that I don't bother, I would love to be able to pronounce your last name, but there are some challenges here today. And so some of you may hear your first name and just go ahead and pop up real quick, and that will save me the embarrassment of and some of the critiques I may get from some of my other commission members. Remain standing until we've completed that group. We'll recognize y'all then, and then we'll move on to the next group, and the previous can be seated. So, starting with our 5-year employees, James Birdwell, the 342nd District Court. Okay, well, James, that didn't dawn on me. Judge Birdwell from the 340. I was going to say, well, it was so nice of the judge to come down with his employee. Where's his employee? And then I'm a little slow on the uptake sometimes, so, I appreciate you being here. Thank you. Jordan Mason, Sheriff's Office. Bradley Phelps, Facilities Management. Timothy Robinson, Precinct 4 Operations. Patrick Warnick, Information Technology. And Sheila Young, Sheriff's Office. Let's give these 5-year employees a big hand. Thank y'all. Now for our 10-year employees, Pasquale Acevedo. There you go. So you should have popped up a little bit quicker and I could have just stopped with Pasquale. Information Technology, Doug Black, Information Technology. Wanda Fryer, Sheriff's Office. Moses Garza, Facility Management. Helen Geese, Budget and Risk Management. Marlene Martinez, Criminal Court Support. I just need to take a deep breath and start after this thing.
You're out of coffee, that's what.
Well, I know I hadn't had enough coffee. I got this water up here instead. Benny Medlin, Juvenile Services. Candace Mornier, District Clerk's Office. Calvin Palmer, Sheriff's Office. Teresa Smith, Sheriff's Office. Teresa. Matthew Taylor, Information Technology. Terrence Taylor, Sheriff's Office. And Samantha Vargas, County Clerk's Office. Let's give these 10-year employees a hand. Now for our 15-year employees, Shelley Brossel, Juvenile Services. Christopher Cochran, Sheriff's Office. Diane Duran, Criminal District Attorney's Office. Mr. E. I practiced on that one. Sheriff's Office. Now, just for all of y'all who are trying to figure out what the laugh is about, would you tell us your name?
Cyriacus Ikenyawa.
That's what I thought it was.
Sounds like you.
Syriacus.
Mr. E. Mary Lee, the Tax Office. Haney Mahamad, Constable Precinct 3. Mahmood.
I don't say it right either.
I have all these helpers after I. Linda Mays, the Sheriff's Office. Lisa Miller, Sheriff's Office. Patsy Paxton, Juvenile Services. Melvin Robinson, Sheriff's Office. Jana Salter, Sheriff's Office. And Mark Sullivan, Probate Court Number 1. Let's give these folks a hand. Now for our 20-year employees, Fred Erickson, Auditor's Office. Must be out. Oh, there he is. I was fixing to say you're out playing golf. I didn't see. I was, Janet Phillips, Tax Office. Brought her own cheering section over here. And Willie White, Auditor's Office. Now for our 25 plus. Now this is someone who I was not able to get a hold of, and so we'll see. Marcia Gillespie, Public Health, 25 years.
She's on vacation.
I really believe that she plans her vacations around these things because...
Actually, Judge, she wrote me an email and says, I'm not coming, I haven't gone yet, and I don't want to jinx anything.
Well, and that's exactly what I was fixing to say, because she wasn't here for 20. And so I thought, okay, this, she's decided she's not going, she's going to either take vacation or she's going to be gone on these things. So everybody call Marcia and congratulate her on 25 years. Her office extension is 5335. And so the jinx will be next time she'll show up or she'll get 100 phone calls again. Well, okay. Mike Hargis, Constable Precinct 2, 25 years. He indicated that he was not going to be able to make it to court. I think he had a friend who had passed away and was actually attending his service today. He's spent 25 years, so if you see Mike, be sure and congratulate him. Joanne Mahalo, and she also didn't think she was going to be able to make it to court. 25 years with CSCD. Paul Rojas, Sheriff Confinement, 25 years. Paul's here. Started out in the Cold Springs facility, went to the FBI fingerprinting school, and has been basically working in that area, is working in booking ID. He's actually in what we talked about was error resolutions, and that's kind of like, okay, somebody will come in and say, this is who I am. And they're always so honest and upfront and tell you everything about them. And so he kind of takes their fingerprint and kind of verifies whether or not they are who they really say they are, or who they might be something else that might be wanted for something else. When I asked him memorable moments, he said it's some of the inmates that he's had the opportunity to deal with while he was in the housing area. He talked about how great a place to work Tarrant County was, that they were always fair, that they really worked to take care of the employees. He has, we talked about kind of what's happened over the last 5 years, what's happening now. He said he's got a son that's in the Navy, and I believe he said he's going to be deployed in August to the Middle East. And then he has a daughter who's now, I guess, at TCC. Paul, we appreciate very much 25 years of service you've given to Tarrant County. Thank you. Next is Abdul Salah, Information Technology, 25 years. Started in the district clerk's office when Tom Hughes was here. Went to the tax office for a while, then moved into the IT area when we kind of combined everything. He's kind of a support specialist in the downtown area. He'd have probably been up here helping Commissioner Fickus fix his computer a few minutes ago, but today he's being recognized. When I asked him about memorable moments, he said one that he could remember is that there was a day when he was moving some boxes and he had a file on top across the street and he was moving it between courthouses, and the wind caught that file and blew papers everywhere. And he said, I was weaving cars on Weatherford trying not to get hit and pick up and catch the papers, and Then they got across the street over here, and the wind, just about the time I'd get to one of them, it'd blow up and it'd get caught in a tree. And he said, I thought, well, I hope nobody saw me. And he said, I got back into this building, and several of his folks said, we just wished we'd have had a camera, because we know if we'd had a camera, we could have won the world's famous, most silliest videos. So that was something that he remembered. He actually came by the office yesterday, and we had a chance to sit down and talk, and I'm really glad that he did, because I learned so much more about him. As was mentioned last week, my father-in-law passed away. My father-in-law was a ham radio operator, and Salah, or Abdul also does that. And in fact, just recently worked the Arlington Parade, 4th of July Parade. He's a member of the Health Department's Medical Corps, again volunteering, like so many of y'all, above and beyond what's expected of you for your job. You do that extra because of your passion for public service. He does some work at TCC, helps teach computers there, and then if there's enough folks sign up, he also will help teach Spanish and French courses, which led me to ask him, well, how many languages do you speak? And he said, oh, probably 6 or 7. And I sit here and struggle with pronouncing English, let alone speaking anything else. He came here in 1981 and went to school at Texas Wesleyan and graduated in 85. As I said earlier, he has been with the county for 25 years. He has 2 daughters. One is a teacher and one is in the 11th grade. Abdul, we appreciate very much your service to Tarrant County these past 25 years. Thank you.
He also ran a life gift run. He runs in that too. And I appreciate you running in a life gift run. Thank you.
Next is Larry Thompson, DA's office, 25 years. Started in the economic crimes area, then moved over to the civil division, and is now out at JPS and is the chief over the hospital division. When I asked him about memorable moments, he said it was when Marvin and he had prosecuted one of our people in one of our departments decided, according to them, that they were going to test their ability to wire money out of the county's account into their account. They were testing. Unfortunately for him, we found out about it before he completed the test and got the money back into our account, but we got it back before he realized it. He also had an opportunity to work in a case with the CPS board that was about a $10 million case that he got dismissed. When I asked him what he liked most, he said it was the opportunity to have worked with Tim and with Marvin and with so many other folks in that department who were so dedicated to their jobs. He said, he's been happy to be able to work here and to be able to serve the citizens. He is, as we mentioned earlier, he is over at John Peter Smith and takes care of the contracts and the claims and a lot of the the liens that the hospitals end up working with. He has 3 girls that are all grown. The oldest is in Dallas. One is actually in France, and one in Houston. 3 grandchildren. I messed this up, I think. No, 3 grandchildren, a 6-year-old in France, a 3-year-old in Houston, and a 1-year-old in Houston. Sometimes I just have to read my hieroglyphics. And it continues, as he said, he continues to enjoy having an opportunity to work and to serve the citizens of Tarrant County. Larry, we appreciate that service and all the service that you've given to us this past 25 years. Thank you. Next is T.C. Webster. Where's T.C.?
That's Mark Flick. That's not unusual.
Yeah. We'll keep going. I bet you T.C. will be here before it's over with. Now we're going to move to our 30-year employees. Richard Alfaro, Sheriff's Courts, 30 years. There's Richard. Started out at the Belknap facility, moved to the Courts Division in '96, and I think we said that you're currently working the employees' interest over at the Justice Center. He said, I love the people that I've had a chance to work with and the supervisors that he's worked for. Time has really flown by. He's very pleased that the opportunities that the county has presented him. When we started talking, he said, I'm at least beginning to think about retiring. After 30 years, he said, it's gone by pretty fast. He lost his father. He lost his father on Father's Day of this year. And so, Paul, we're thinking of you. We appreciate very much the 30 years of service you've given to Tarrant County. Thank you. Next is David Brock with the Sheriff's Department in the courts area, 30 years. Started off in the jail, then moved to the courts area, and is now in Judge Hennigan's court, 324th. When I asked him about memorable moments, he said, seen an awful lot of change in the county. Most of it's been for the good. When I asked him what he liked most, he said it was the people that he's gotten to know. He said he enjoyed working with, that he's had opportunities to work with the commissioner's courts and many of the commissioner court members, and he's really enjoyed that. He's enjoyed the people that he's had a chance to work with, and he really brought out the work ethic of everyone who he's come in contact with and worked with in the county, and how they take their job seriously, and that they try to be as professional and as responsible as possible. When I asked him if there was anything else he'd like from me, he said, whenever I retire, he said, I want and I hope that I will leave the department in a little bit better shape than what it was when I came here. He said, when I started work here, I never thought I would be here for 30 years. But I can tell you, David, we are very, very appreciative of the fact that you are here, and thank you very much for your service. Next is Lisa Silsky, Human Services, 30 years. There's Lisa. Lisa's not real excited about these kind of things. She gets a little, I could tell she was kind of blushing on the phone when I even talked with her. She started out in the tax office part-time and was there for 3 months, and then moved over to Human Services. She's now a case aide at the Resource Connection. When I asked her what she liked most, it was the hours, the benefits, the work that she gets to do. When I kind of asked her what's been going on, in her life recently, she said, I never thought I'd be here this long, and it's been a real blessing, and it's been a lot of fun. She's just celebrated her 35th wedding anniversary. Her son, she has one son, and he's grown and is, I guess, working in the area, in the IT area, for GameStop, actually, I believe, in this area. So, Lisa, we appreciate very much the 30 years of service. Thank you for being here. Next is Donna Williams in the tax office. There's Donna. You were the cheering section for the 30 years. Started off in the Northwest Sub at Lake Worth, and was there for about 13 and a half years, then moved to downtown, and she now gets the titles, get all the car titles ready, I guess, to go to Austin. When I asked her about a memorable moment, she said it was the time that she spent out at Northwest and the times that she spent with Ruth Garrett, and that they were very, very close friends, and that she really enjoyed that time.
Her dad retired as operations manager of my precinct.
Is that right?
Yeah.
She didn't mention that.
You should have.
She said she loves the people that she's had a chance to work with. She too is one that really doesn't enjoy being put up front, and When I asked her kind of what had occurred over the last few years, she said her mother had passed away, her dad's 93, and they just had to put him into a nursing home. She said, I have really enjoyed the time with the county and hopes to be here for a few more years. We appreciate, Donna, very much you being here with the county. Thank you. Next is T.C. Webster. I see T.C. Came in. We got started a little early, and I told you we weren't going to do employee recognitions to 10. It looked, so anyway, we're recognizing you now.
It's after 10 and you're late.
25 years of service with Tarrant County. He started out as a supervisor for Precinct 1 with the road crew under J.D.'s good friend, Don McChesney. Then went from there into the road unit road system, and then came back to Precinct 1 when that was dissolved. His memorable moments was, he said, starting the base stabilization part for the county roads, and then also the upgrading of the county equipment over the years. He has enjoyed very much the people that he's had a chance to work with, the ability to work independently, the benefits that the county has offered, and really the ability to help people who wanted to work. When I talked to him about kind of what had happened, he said, you know, we just remain very, very active and involved with our cities and with our school districts in our precinct. He has a son who is a regional manager and franchise owner with Subway that he's very, very proud of. And he said, you know, I just can't begin to tell you how much I've enjoyed working for Tarrant County these past 25 years. TC, thank you very much for your contribution. Next is Cindy Burgess, 35 years with the District Attorney's Office. Started out in the DA's office in the appellate section and spent all but 1 year in the appellate office. For 1 year, she spent in special crimes area. The memorable moment was, well, there was two. It was the honor of working with Tim, but it was also the shooting that took Chris Marshall from us. When I asked her what she liked most, she said, as a young mother, she enjoyed having the job that let her had a life that, you know, that was supported by her workers. She said the people that I've had a chance to work for are really great. She likes the way the court systems work in a regular way. She said, I've learned a lot about the social circles of Tarrant County. I've lived most of my life here. Used the county reimbursement program to to get her certificate. Honored to have worked for so many great people. When we talked, she just stressed over and over again how proud she was to have been a part of the DA's office. And she said, you know, I've really thought about this, and it's hard to express in, you know, just a telephone conversation. And she actually wrote something and brought it by, and I'm going to read that, if you don't mind. She says, thank you, Tarrant County. For 35 years, my family and I have been blessed because of the resource and satisfaction my position has provided. Thank you, Tim Curry. I honor you today by remembering your 37 years of service as Tarrant County's District Attorney, which ended with your death in April of 2009, earning you the title of the longest-serving District Attorney in our great state. I thrived during my 29 years of service under your leadership. May you rest in peace. Thank you, Chris Marshall, former chief of the appellate section and friend, for being such an example of exemplary living, showing deep passion for equality and fairness under the law, even to your death. I learned so much from you. Thank you, Chuck Malin, for standing in the gap following Chris's murder in the courthouse shootings of July 1992. Your willingness to lead us through those difficult months and years is an inspiration to me. Your continued leadership of our section during the transition as Joe Shannon followed Tim's legacy into the Tarrant County's District Attorney's Office, forming the office into a more technologically advanced system using shared information for better law enforcement. Thank you, Deborah Windsor, current Chief of the Post-Conviction, for being a qualified leader willing to get into the trenches with all the troops. Thank you to our current District Attorney, Sharon Wilson, who leads us forward with a fresh vision, stretching us to strive for excellence for whatever the future holds. I'm proud to have served with so many vibrant people during my career. Cynthia, we thank you very, very much for your 35 years of service.
I would like to say, I appreciate so much the leadership that we have in Tarrant County. Y'all hold our purse strings tight, use your wisdom, you work together with cool heads. I know it's not a perfect situation in here as you make difficult decisions, but I just thank you, and I think all of us here thank you for making this one of the best places in Texas to live.
Thank you. Next is Mike Rumer, Transportation Services, 35 years. I don't think Mike was going to be able to be in court today. Thank him for his 35 years when next you see him. And then 35, actually 37, Sharon Spencer, District Attorney's Office. Where's Sharon? She's working. Again, when you see Sharon, thank her for her 37 years. She's one of those that if you go away, we take it away from you and then, reduce those years of service. So while we're saying 35, she's actually been with us 37. Thank her. Really, I want to thank everyone for the committed service, for the committed passion that you have for public service, and the way you serve the citizens of Tarrant County. It is a great place to live. We take it for granted until we find ourselves in another county dealing with folks. And there are always great ones in other counties too, but I don't think any of them are like ours. So thank y'all very much for your service. Have a great day. Refreshments in 504C behind me. Thank y'all. I think it's out there off Independence. Somebody was supposed to have gotten us. Lisa? Lisa. Do you have a map of where this one is? Would you send that to my office and get them to print off a couple of copies? Get an address so that we can put it in? Well, so it's sitting in the north side? Get the office to print out a couple of things and we'll go from there. Court members, if I could get a receive and file on the employee contribution.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion second to receive and file the employee recognition. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Commissioner Wynn will be right back in.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. We now have two public hearings. Go right ahead.
Morning. Today we're seeking your approval for to consider the placement of a stop sign on Gebron Court at Ferris Way. This is in Precinct 1 subdivision called Pyramid Acres.
At this time, I'll open a public hearing and ask if there's anyone here wishing to speak to this matter. There appearing to be none, I'll close the public hearing and ask if there's any further action.
Approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
We're also requesting your approval to increase the speed limit on Bates Aston located in Precinct 4 from 30 miles an hour to 40 miles an hour. As part of our, every 2 years we do what we call a saturation count, and we've had some concerns in this area about the speed limit by the residents, and so we are requesting that you approve that increase in speed limit.
At this time, I'll open a public hearing and ask if there's anyone here wishing to speak to this matter. There appearing none, then I'll close the public hearing and ask for action.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Mr. Manius?
Thank you, Your Honor. Members of the court, a week ago to item number 2, we're requesting that the court approve certification for Texas Harris Methodist Hospital of Fort Worth to participate in the 340B program.
Move approval. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Y'all are getting that. Okay. Ms. Tidwell.
This morning we have one item. We're asking the court to approve the release of approximately $15,100,000 of collateral as requested in the attached letter to your court communique.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Ms. Glenn, Ms. Worthy.
Move to receive and file personnel agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to receive and file personnel agenda. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Good morning. Our second item is to request approval for the on-site biometric screenings through the Public Employees Cooperative Wellness Program. This is, as you might remember, we joined the PEBC Wellness Program back in January. We can earn points through the end of October for an incentive of $300. These biometrics are intended for those individuals that have not received biometric screenings via a private physician. The screening will include a finger stick and a body mass index reading. The finger stick will be for cholesterol, HDL, cholesterol risk ratio, and glucose, non-fasting. We anticipate we'll have probably 3 events because we must guarantee that we have at least 50 participants at each event, and we think we can probably only support 3 events. And the cost to the county is $50 per employee that participates.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
I wanted to also say we do not plan on giving the $50 incentive for participation in the biometrics as we've done in the past. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We just have one request from Public Health this morning, and that is the approval of the intergovernmental transfer payment for our Medicaid waiver projects.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ann.
Mr. Beecham.
Good morning.
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 We have 5 items for your consideration this morning. Our first item is a bid award recommendation for bid 2015-133, annual contract for cold-applied asphalt crack sealant. Recommendation will be to award on a per unit price basis, awarding to Martin Asphalt Company.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Our second item is another bid award recommendation for bid 2015-145, This annual contract for equipment rentals for use countywide, recommendation will be toward on a per enterprise basis, awarding the primary, secondary, and several alternates as shown in your court communique. This is one of those necessary evil bids. We don't spend a lot of money with this bid on an annual basis. If we ever had an emergency, everybody in Tarrant County would be able to utilize this bid. This actually covers every piece of rental equipment known to mankind. It's a large undertaking. I want to thank my staff, but it's a very important bid for us to keep bringing back.
Generators, things like that?
Sir?
Generators?
Yes, sir, everything. Cranes, everything known to mankind.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Number 3 item is, again, a bid award recommendation for bid 2015-147. This is a bid for digitization of Commissioners Court recordings on cassette tapes for the County Clerk's Office. Recommendation be toward a per unit price basis, awarding to a company called Distinctively Remembered.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Item number 4 is another bid award recommendation for bid 2015-148. It's a bid for a validation support plan for the ME's office. Recommendation would be toward a per unit price basis, awarding to the Bode Technology Group.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Our last item is an item in regards to RFQ 2015-126, request for qualifications for gas and oil mineral asset management services for the county, the properties that we own. Of the Administrator's Office, we are seeking approval to conduct negotiations with Bank of Texas and Northern Trust.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Mr. Riley? Nope. Mr. Skinner?
Good morning.
Good morning.
We are requesting the court's approval of a memorandum of understanding between the City of Southlake, Gateway Church, and Tarrant County related to the extension of an acceleration ramp from a turnaround bridge over State Highway 114 to the eastbound frontage road.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank
Commissioner Wynn, you have an interlocal agreement?
I move for the approval of item I-1A and B.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Commissioner Fickus?
I move approval for I-1, 2A and B, approval interlocal between Tarrant County and City of Fort Worth.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Commissioner Johnson?
All these been approved by the DA's office?
Yes, Commissioner, they have.
Thank you. I move approval of item 9I3, A through H.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Are there any appointments? You have before you the claims, including the addendum.
Move approval of claims, including the addendum.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Briefing items, Mr. Manius?
Your Honor, we do not have any briefing items today.
Okay, we have one audience participation. Christina, this one I thought I had gotten through it. Chinchilla? Okay. Sorry about that. Please restate your name and your address for the record.
My name is Christina Chinchilla. I'm from the UTA Graduate School of Social Work. I also work at MHMR. I won't take much of your time, but I just wanted to come and advocate for something that you all spoke about in a past meeting, which was the Macarthur Foundation Public and Health and Safety Challenge, the grant that we didn't get. I know that you talked about pursuing some other options for jail diversion, and it inspired me to use you guys as my school project because I really have a passion for jail diversion, especially working with the mental health population, and they oftentimes spend a lot of times in jail and can't bail out, and they're not violent criminals or anything like that. So I did some research and I found that the Vera Institute of Justice had some really good ideas, and I just wanted to share them with you. You may already know about them, may already be pursuing them. But one is a program for judges to assess the offender's risk of, being violent or reoffending. Another one is maybe a financial release for bail, a release of liability. I just wanted to share those with you and just see what y'all thought and, run out of here.
Lisa, thank you very much. Let me kind of explain a little bit that I probably should have explained in the beginning. Because your item or because your subject is not on our agenda,
You can't respond.
we can't respond to you. I would encourage you to talk with GK, our county administrator, and I think he can make you aware of some of the existing programs that we do have. And if not, I think he can also put you in touch with folks who would certainly be willing to explore possibilities in that regard.
Awesome. That would help me a lot.
Thank you very much for
All right.
coming down here today.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
With that, we will recess our open meeting and proceed to close to discuss items exempted under sections 551.071, 072, 074. I get my third.
No, I'm not.
Having returned from closed session, we'll now address the following matter.
Thank you, members of the court. We'll go to the administrators section. Item 1, we're requesting that the court consider a request for tax abatement for GM for the extension of the assembly plant in Arlington and take action as noted in the following issues. Approve Tarrant County and the hospital district's participation with the city of Arlington in the abatement of ad valorem taxes on eligible real and personal property improvements made by General Motors for the extension of the Arlington assembly plant for a period of 10 years with a maximum abatement percentage of 70% as set forth in the 2 tax abatement agreements. Approve the request for variance of section 3I1 of the county's tax abatement policy, which requires utilization of Tarrant County and DBE enterprises for a minimum of 25% and 15% respectively, and then also approve the attached resolution certifying Tarrant County's agreement to participate with the city of Arlington in this abatement. We have given the clerks an amended copy of the communication and the proposal that's in your court packet.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Your Honor.
There being no further business, we are adjourned.